Hi, this is Fret. This is my app. It's going to be something that's available on mobile and desktop. It's just a web app, and it's a social database to visualize the world's problems. So, as an overview, the goals are to persuade users to make a habit of posting, and then eventually, as a phase two, tagging and sorting their problems, their complaints, their frustrations about anything and everything. So, whether it's someone clipping their nails on a train or people starving in Africa, the site wants you to post about it so you can connect with people who might have similar concerns or create awareness. It's supposed to bring people together over common frustrations, big and small. So the benefit to those people is that they now have the power to visualize all that data and turn it into something positive. So by posting this, you're contributing to a giant database that will become a giant visualization that people can drill down to and filter, but that's kind of eventually as well. So the first phase is simple, and that's what I'm going to focus on with this. It's going to be a reliable resource that individuals and agencies and companies and innovators and politicians and pretty much anyone can use to make decisions about problems that need to be solved. So if I'm some kind of incubator looking for a startup, I can come to this site and get data about what kind of business I can focus on based on what users are actually complaining about. So the users are going to be people who already enjoy similar sites such as Twitter and Instagram, people who are familiar with the concept of posting something and using that social network community. And then more specifically, people who really enjoy visual stuff. So infographics, data visualizations, graphical representations of information that relates to them, people who need an outlet. So people who want to complain but don't want to just complain and to no one, that want to be heard and kind of have like more of like a journal feel. Um, People looking to find information on others and how they're experiencing the world's problems themselves. So if I'm a teacher and I'm struggling with something, I might want to know that other teachers are struggling with the same kind of thing and how they're struggling with it. People who feel like the current flood of information out there is confusing and needs to be simplified and digestible and useful. So, this information overload problem needs to be more managed. People who care about others, people who care about change, people who want these things to change, people who believe that visualizing trends in the world's problems makes them meaningful. The little goals, or the tasks rather, this is the task analysis. If you picture a persona, Carol, she's a teacher. She's struggling with her students and looking to connect with two people with similar problems. So Carol comes to the site, she reads the homepage copy, she doesn't know what this is. She sees the little form, it looks easy enough to use, so she posts a problem. She's immediately prompted for more information. So if she wasn't invited to the site, she can actually sign up. Or she can at least get a temporary sign up until her sign up is approved, because it's an invite only thing right now. But this is for now. So the login prompt says, "Hey, can we get some data about you? Like, well, where are you? Who are you? Just to associate with your problem." And then now she sees her problem at the top of the feed. So then she's like, whoa, cool, I just posted something. So she enters another problem. Then maybe she comes back to the site later. And so her second scenario now is to log in. She's got her account. She can filter by what interests her. So maybe she can look for education as an industry and search only by state or certain age group, so she can look at other problems that are specific to what she is dealing with too. She can browse those posts. She can click Me Too so she can relate to other posts. And this is how she's interacting with the site. Is she's contributing problems and she's also empathizing with problems. So she feels like she's part of this little community. This is how it actually looks. So this is the home page when you're not logged in. This is just enough to get you started or intrigued. You can play around with the search. You can search different terms like keywords. You can filter. You can go over to the little copy line here, which is take all that negativity and turn it into something powerful. And that's going to be kind of a rotating adjective funnel. So it could say important, meaningful. It's going to be a little bit of animation. The word powerful will rotate every 2 seconds to display different adjectives. You can sign in. If you don't already have an account, you can make one. You would go down to why should I, and that would fly up and you would have a form. I'll show you that next. You can you can click Me Too. You don't have to be signed in to empathize with people. So over there on the right, you see that there's a column that would be infinitely scrolling with other people's problems. And clicking Me Too, little, bumps up the counter, kind of like on Facebook. It's all scrollable. Then we have getting, the actual form kind of has the concept of scarcity. You have your little 100 character limit so that you have to think about the quality of what you're posting, not just post whatever. And it also makes the post more succinct and digestible for other users. And then if you're on a mobile phone or a tablet, you probably don't want to type. So I kind of borrowed this UI element from the Android text messaging thing, which is that you just tap to build a statement. That makes it a little easier. It's just suggestions. You can add a picture. You can click add, and then you'll see your post again populate at the top of the feed over there. And then the about and sign up info is all in this little drawer at the bottom. And I did that because I wanted to focus on the interface itself without bogging you down with information unless you actually need it. So then when you decide that if you do want to know more, if this isn't persuasive enough to get you to start interacting with it as it is, then you can click why should I, and then you get this drawer that flies up. There's all your adjectives right there on the right that you saw scrolling, and then there's me. So there's the founder. I got my picture. I got my stats. That kind of helps you empathize with the system. Yes, it's actually someone who created it for a good reason. I wanted to help people, but I didn't know where to start. It's got a paragraph copy explaining what the deal is. It's got a form to give me feedback, and then a form to request an invite for an unfiltered beta account. So that kind of makes you feel special. That's, again, the concept of scarcity, making this feel like it's an important thing that you should get involved with soon. It's got just enough form fields so that I can get your demographics, so that I can filter and get data going to create eventual better data visualizations. The do it button is an example of how the copy is kind of playful and fun as it's appropriate to increase emotional engagement, to make you feel safe, to make you feel connected to the app, so that way you're more comfortable posting your problems. And then here's what the page would look like when you actually are logged in. This would be the home page all the time. If you have cookies turned on, it would just look like this when you get to it. It's got the same form. It's got a little button to add it. It populates at the top, and then it's got your stats. So this is that feedback loop where you're seeing your stats increase, kind of like on Twitter as you're posting more, and you can see how people react to you, and it logs all that too. That way you're incentivized to keep using the system. Again, the concept of scarcity with the invites. So you only have a certain number of invites, and that way you have to carefully consider who you're inviting and the quality of those people so that the system kind of retains this. Only we have people who are actually making quality posts here. It's not getting bogged down by people who just want to whine and complain and kind of vandalize the whole thing. It's got tabs integrated into the feed. So if you click on a problem, then on the right column you get all of the stats about that problem. So the person who posted it, their location, the top keywords, similar problems, and everything in this list is actually clickable. So if you were to click any line of copy here in the right hand column, the feed would actually adjust itself to reflect that kind of as a filter, so that you're digging deeper into the site and exploring it that way. You can click Me Too. It's kind of like liking something on Facebook again, and the threshold is that if something gets to 100 Me Too's, it's considered trending, and then that can get special attention on the site. But that's also kind of a phase 2 thing. You can click a social icon to share a problem on the platform or on social media rather. So that way, if you think it's important, you can kind of promote it elsewhere. And then, based on user feedback and people that I interviewed, they wanted a way to actually give advice to people sometimes. So I have a send feedback button. So if you wanted to contact this user, they could turn on your ability to contact them. They could turn it off if they don't want to be contacted, and you can tell them what you think. And then you can report it if it's spam. You got your login controls up there at the top right. And then again, just to point out that this middle column scrolls and the other two are fixed. So that's the interface. What I gained from this project is that I got to practice thinking about persuasive design. I always thought that motivation would come from UX and aesthetics, and that if those were good, then you would have people using your site. But by thinking about behavioral psychology, I took this project beyond what it would have been. I definitely added so many things and thought about so many things I wouldn't have otherwise. I now feel like I have a solid understanding of triggers and scarcity and feedback, because those are the concepts that I actually implemented for persuasion, because I've not just read about them, but I've actually implemented them. And I also feel like I gained this idea. I do this kind of stuff for people all day. I develop interfaces and system requirements, but it's really great to be able to flesh out an idea of my own. What I gained from the course in general, the concept of triggers was totally new to me. I used to blame marketing if people weren't coming to the site for not getting it out there, but now I realize it's my job to design systems that consider when and how a person will be prompted to interact with the site. So the triggers for this system are whenever you have a problem, you should be in the habit of thinking of coming to Fret and posting it, and that should be the trigger for the system all the time. Using research based tactics to make something more persuasive isn't just helpful, it's essential. And I'm going to try to push that on the people I work with, because now I know actual strategies for how to do that. I feel like I've realized that these things aren't just nice to have, that they're actually really vital. And the more they catch on elsewhere, the more we're going to be behind if we don't start doing this stuff. So I'm glad I have this information to kind of take to my company and make sure everyone else is doing this stuff too. But I'm most ecstatic about gamification. I feel like now I have that ammo up my sleeve, and I'm anxious to start dishing that out to people. I actually have started proposing some things for this chocolate company. For example, have you tried all of these chocolate flavors? Complete the set. So I'm working on that right now, and I would like to let you know how it goes. But thanks for the class.